His name has been kept out of most of the accounts at his own request. But the story has been documented by people who study corvid behavior, and the core facts are not in dispute. He began feeding a crow near his home in the Pacific Northwest. He left unsalted peanuts on the same fence post every morning at roughly the same time, without making a particular effort to interact with or acknowledge the bird beyond the act of leaving the food. The same crow appeared. He named it, though he never told it the name. He kept leaving peanuts. The crow kept showing up. Within a few months, something shifted in a way he did not immediately understand. The crow began appearing not just at the fence post but at other points along his regular daily route, at the corner where he turned on his morning walk. Near the entrance to the grocery store he stopped at several times a week. Outside the window of the coffee shop where he worked on certain mornings. Always alone, always watching him specifically, always in a way that the people around him eventually noticed before he consciously registered it himself. It brought him things. Over the 3 years the story spans, he collected and carefully catalogued what the crow left. 37 objects, including a small earring he never identified the origin of, a piece of distinctively blue plastic, a smooth white pebble, a fragment of reflective foil, a button. He kept them in a small container. He did not know what to make of them for a long time. Researchers who eventually learned about the case noted that what he had described, the extension of the crow's attention beyond the feeding site, the object-leaving behavior, the sustained individualized attention across 3 years, was consistent with documented patterns in how crows form and maintain prolonged relationships with specific humans. Not a common occurrence, but not an unexplained one either. To understand why it happens, you need to understand something about what social bonds mean to a crow at a functional level. Crows are social animals in a deeper sense than the word is usually meant. They form pair bonds that last for the full duration of their adult lives. They maintain extended family relationships across multiple breeding seasons. They cooperate with specific known individuals in every major domain of their survival, raising offspring, defending territory, monitoring threats, sharing information. The social fabric of a crow's life is not a loose background against which it operates individually. It is the central structure of its existence. The specific relationships it maintains with specific individuals are not peripheral. They are the whole architecture. Within those relationships, behavioral tracking and reciprocity are fundamental. Crows keep records. They remember what they have given and what they have received from specific individuals over time. They adjust their behavior based on those records. They maintain and reinforce relationships through repeated, reciprocal exchange, not as a learned trick, but as an expression of the social architecture they inhabit. Object-leaving behavior in extended crow-human relationships appears to function as a form of that reciprocal exchange. It is not sentimentality. It is communication, an expression of relationship maintenance in the only currency a crow has, that is not food. The act of placing an unusual, carefully selected object in a location associated with a specific individual communicates something that, translated into human terms, would read approximately as, "I recognize this relationship. I am doing my part to keep it active. Here is evidence that I have thought of you." Whether the crow thinks of it in anything like those terms is not something we can claim to know. What we can say is that the behavior is consistent, documented, and specific enough. Specific to particular individuals in particular relationships, not scattered randomly, that it resists explanation as coincidence. The man in this story did not set out to build a relationship with a crow. He left food on a fence post. He was predictable. He was non-threatening. He showed up consistently without demanding anything in return. Over months and years, those qualities accumulated into a record that the crow assessed, and the assessment concluded, this individual is worth something. This relationship is worth maintaining. Understanding what the crow was doing requires shifting the frame slightly. We tend to think about animals selecting humans to interact with as something that the human has engineered. The right food, the right timing, the right approach. But in documented cases like this one, the initiation is consistently from the crow. Humans do not befriend crows through effort and strategy. Crows decide, based on their own ongoing evaluation of a specific human across days and weeks and months, whether that human is worth incorporating into their relational world. The decision is theirs. The criteria are theirs, and the relationship, once formed, is maintained on their terms. What this man did, without fully realizing it until the research conversations made it clear, was pass an evaluation he didn't know he was in. He was assessed over time by an animal with a long memory, a detailed internal record, and very specific criteria for what constitutes a worthwhile social presence. And at some point during those months, the assessment concluded in his favor. The 37 objects were the evidence. The crow's way of leaving a record of the record it was keeping. He still leaves peanuts on the fence post. The crow still shows up, and now, every morning when he steps outside and it is there on the railing, waiting, he knows it is not there for the peanuts. It has not been there for the peanuts for a long time.